Welcome to the Soulfire Podcast, where healing is raw, truth is sacred, and your story gets to burn and rebuild in the same breath. I'm Power Coach Alishia, pattern breaker, soul mirror, fire starter, and the unapologetic voice of the burn it down and rise anyways revolution. We don't fluff your wounds, we don't filter your truth, and we don't water down healing so that people stay comfortable. You've spent way too damn long proving your worth to people who only love the version of you that stayed small, quiet, and convenient. If you've ever swallowed your truth to keep the peace, shrunk yourself to stay chosen, or disappeared in your life, this season isn't just a reset or another motivational podcast. This is where you reclaim your voice, your fire, and your fucking self. I'll give you the truth that heals, frameworks that hold, and soul codes that will change how you live, lead, love, and rise. Lovey, come forward. It's time for you to embody your wholeness. And I'm not only leading this season, I'm living it right beside you. Let's fucking go. You know, there comes a moment in your life when you realize that you've spent too much of it asking, right? Asking for permission and validation and if it's okay to take up space. And one of the most sacred moments in your becoming is the moment that you decide that your life no longer requires outside approval in order for you to be you. Okay. And this is exactly what our April series is all about and what we've been talking about. When we say that you were never lost, you were just misaligned. This entire series is walking you back to yourself, your identity, your rhythm, your truth. So everything you build actually starts working with you. Now, one of the most powerful things is your sovereignty. And in this episode, we're talking about claiming your sovereign space and welcoming you to your queendom. And your sovereignty begins when your self-abandonment ends, okay? So a lot of times people think that sovereignty is dominance and force and control, but sovereignty is actually what happens when your choices begin coming from your own truth, from what I say is the inside out, instead of everyone else's expectations, which is from the outside in. And so it sounds like honoring your own timing and trusting your own knowing, making powerful decisions that match your values, and aligning your own voice to lead. And for many women, this really feels like unfamiliar and uncomfortable, right? At the beginning, because really anything new that you start feels unfamiliar and uncomfortable, right? So that really shows up that way because survival trained you to adapt to that. But with sovereignty, that's asking you to return to you. So you're moving from this adaptation that everyone has kind of put on you, that you've been indoctrinated and conditioned into, and you're really stepping into how your soul is asking you to lead and to move and to flow and to calibrate. And the disconnection between the two can sometimes feel a little unstable because your stability is in what you've always known. But the call from your soul is to find stability in what feels the best for you. And external permission will always create internal fragmentation. There's a podcast episode here. You can just search the podcast website for fragments, and it's called Fragments of the Soul. There's 4 episodes around that. There's self-regulation, emotional intelligence, fragments of the soul, and another one. I can't think of what the other one is right now, but there's 4 episodes and they're all boom, 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 right? Back to back to back with each other. I highly recommend that you go back or you go and you listen to those episodes, because everything that we talk about here, everything that I teach you here on this podcast is to help you really come home to you, understand you, move in your own rhythm, make your own empowered decisions, and feel really good within yourself and how you move. Because every single time your life is built around approval, what happens is your energy fractures, okay? And when you build your life and you stand in your power, and it's built around your own knowing and your own rhythm and flow and calibration, then that's your powerful energy. And the reason why we get caught up in building our life around others' approval is because there's different parts of you, right? I love the book Align Your Mind by Britt Frank. I highly recommend that. I'll do my best to link it in the show notes. Align Your Mind by Britt Frank. And it's all around the internal family system and talking to you about your different parts and how those parts speak up and how those parts operate and how those parts lead you and how to really honor those parts, because we really attempt to spend our life shutting down the pieces of us that we don't like and that we don't want to listen to and that we feel like are wrong or that aren't accepted or that feel uncomfortable. But the real truth is it's about honoring those parts and connecting with those parts and really giving those parts a voice outside of those moments that those parts are being triggered. And then another part of it is allowing those parts to be parts instead of allowing those parts to be the cognitive distortion that is all or nothing, right? Instead of allowing those parts to be you, instead of declaring that I am a jealous person, I am an angry person, I am fill in the blank. It's a part of me is an extremely jealous person. A part of me is an extremely angry person. And so she talks about it in Align Your Mind. It's diffusing yourself, your being, your soul, your wholeness from those parts and just allowing those parts to stand out, because there's a part of you that wants truth and a part of you that wants safety and a part of you that wants belonging. And that fragmentation, it shows up everywhere, right? It's hesitation in decisions and delayed launches in your business and watered down messaging and resentment in relationships because of fusing with those parts and allowing them to scream at you and lead the way, right? Instead of really standing in your own power and honoring those parts as being part of you instead of the sum of the whole of you. Okay. Always remember this. And that is, anytime you borrow your authority, it's always going to weaken your personal power. So, an example of this is I am a brilliant marketer. I am very good at it from A to Z. When I sit down with somebody, or when I used to rephrase, sit down with somebody and I was building their business from A to Z, the very first thing that we would do is their branding and their logo, like their color palette, right? From there, it would be their business tagline and like their, that one liner that they're going to say. From there, we would build their signature offer and then their messaging around that signature offer, and then their sales process that would lead to them selling that signature offer. I know what it takes to create a flyer that makes people want to show up to the event, right? And how to create marketing that moves people into action. If I'm going to put it in a sentence, I'm brilliant at creating marketing that moves people into action and then that action turning into cash. I know this. I have done this for a lot of years, even clear back when I was working at a day job, 22 years ago almost now, or 21 years ago. I up leveled all of their sales scripts. And that again is a part of marketing. I changed how they did that because there was a better way to do it to have a better result and for all of the sales reps to make more money. And so I retrained all the sales reps. I just decided to do this, right? My boss didn't ask me to do this. So let me rewind. I changed all of my scripting from what my boss had said that we were supposed to use. I changed it all because of the way that it was verbalized and the way that it was coming across wasn't getting the result that we want. So I changed it and up leveled it and it shifted. I was able to talk to the apartment owners or the HOA owners or the university people, and I could get to the person, the decision maker, because I changed the verbiage, right? And so he was like, well, what are you doing? And why are you getting these results? And I told him, I'm like, because I changed all the shit that you created and I made it more powerful, empowering, that would get me to the person that makes the decisions and get me moving forward so I can close these deals. And he's like, okay, I'm basically dubbing you as the sales trainer of the company and I want you to retrain everyone. Now, I didn't get paid more for this or anything like that. I'm just a naive 20-year-old at this point. So I don't really know my power. I'm like, no, fuck this. You're going to pay me for that. And I get this extra bonus for, basically leading your sales team. But I did it and it changed the result that everybody had. And then over the years, and that was before I had invested almost $1 million into my own education through internet marketing and mindset and everything, courses and webinars and email marketing and social media marketing, like all of the things that I know now. And it's easy to get taken away and caught up in someone directing you, someone telling you that this is what they want you to do, this is how they want you to do it, even though you know your fucking brilliance, even though you know how to do what you do. And recently I got taken away with that. I started being told how I was going to market, how I was going to show up, how I was going to do it, what that looked like. And it doesn't need to be rephrase. It just needs to be good enough. We just need something to get out there, is kind of the phrase that kept being used. It's like, and then we can make it better later. Well, this started watering me down. It started watering down my excitement. It started watering down my badassery. It started watering down how I do what I do and the result that I get from what I do. And because I was literally shrinked into this container, I literally stopped all the marketing. I didn't want to do any of it anymore because my badassery and what I bring to the table was now confined to this container that did not match me. And it was fucking up my own soul rhythm and flow and calibration, regardless of the fact that this was marketing. It was fucking it up and like how I felt inside. And I really didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't really want to be a part of it anymore. I didn't want to be a sidelined assistant. That's not what I'm built for. That's not who I am. That's not the education that I have. And it is not what I do. It just doesn't align with who the fuck I am at all. And it was this not only external permission, it was this external, like almost contort and control. But let me be clear, it wasn't the other person or people's fault. It was the fact that I didn't stand firm in my fucking badassery and my brilliance and what I do and what I create and how I do it. And say, this is my boundary. If you want me to be the badass marketer that I am and, build this and bring the people and get the result that you're looking for, you need to get the fuck out of my way. This is what I do. This is how I do it. Now, here's the layers that I will add in there so that you can review, so that you can see all of the things. But at the end of the day, it's my flyer language because I know that that flyer is going to get a result. The flyer is not to advertise the event. The flyer is to connect someone to what they're going to get at this event that's going to help them. That's what makes them show up. It's not about just telling them what the event is. Oh, you'll learn this, you'll learn that, you'll learn this, you'll learn that. No, the flyer is designed to not only walk them down into themselves as they go into the flyer, but when they get to the end, for them to say, that event is for me and I want to be there. Throwing something together, having a novice person who doesn't know what they're doing throw it together because I've created some template will not get the right result because the content of the flyer is so important, right? And so I'm sharing this with you. I know this isn't a session about a flyer, right? A podcast episode about a flyer. The point is, I know that about a flyer. 99% of people have no fucking clue that that's how you create a flyer, that that's how you create pages of websites, that's how you create email marketing. That's how you create newsletters. You don't write a newsletter just to give them information. You write a newsletter to fucking move them into action. And so when you're working with somebody who wants a result, but they're contorting you into a container because you're allowing them to do that and to pressurize you that way and to distort you that way, it's going to fuck you up. And so some things shifted, some things happened, and I realized what had happened. And I basically revamped my entire Asana board because I had kind of fucked up. I had taken some ownership that wasn't mine. I had started setting things up in a way like it was my own business and it's how I would do it. And all of these things. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm just the fucking marketer. So I reset the whole thing and I reset my whole board and what I was working on just to be about marketing. And then I started cleaning up all the messes. We need to clean this up. We need to clean that up. We need to clean this up. We need to clean that up. We need to make decisions 90 days at a time. Just because someone says something doesn't mean we make these changes right now. It fucks it all up. It makes it unstable ground. This is how I work the best. This is how I have the most free flowing. This is how I'm the most excited. And this is the only way that I will continue to bring my badass marketing to the table is if I feel free. And if I feel in full control to be able to create and design things the way that I know that will deliver the result. I am not someone who will throw something together half-assly and then fix it later. I don't need perfection, but I damn sure have to be able to do what I know works best. And if you're rushing me or you're just having this flippant attitude of just get something out there, then you don't want me as your marketer, because I'm not going to do that kind of work out of respect for myself and you and the highest good, right? And so now this has shifted and I'm standing in that energy. I'm standing in that power. And that's my fucking boundary. You want my brilliance, which you're not going to find in one person unless you're willing to pay them, about $150,000 to $200,000 or more, because the average marketer gets paid that. Like if you're a marketer of like a big company at the level that what I'm talking about, that you're getting paid six figures just to be the marketer. And then you have the content person, you have the social media person. That person has a fucking team. When you run those salaries back, you're probably looking at close to $500,000 that is in one person in me. But I'm not willing to water myself down and being put into this container, because what that's been doing is fragmenting me. And it's not empowering me, or it wasn't empowering me, and it wasn't giving me the freedom to do what I do best. And so remember that when you give your authority away or you borrow your authority from someone else, it will always weaken your personal power, your knowledge, and what you already know how to do best, your confidence and your ability to show up and kill it. And your queendom begins the moment that your internal authority becomes stronger than the outside opinion. And it doesn't mean that you're strong arming someone. If the outside opinion is someone else who's, let's say, the leader, and you're here to help, and they don't like the fact that your internal authority and the way that you lead and the way that your rhythm is and your flow and your calibration is this way, then they can go fucking find someone else. And you can stand in that power knowing that you're only going to deliver in a way that's just as empowering and filling up for you as it is for the result in the other person. And you can take this away from the marketing that I said. This could be relationships, right? It doesn't matter what you apply it to. It's your internal authority. And then they get to decide what they want to do with that. And if they don't want you a part of that anymore, that's their fucking choice. But you don't go shrinking yourself down and editing yourself and giving away your authority to someone else because you want to be accepted or you want to be part of it or you want to be liked. And now you're fragmenting and you're out of your rhythm and you can't find your flow. And there's this whole discombobulation because you think that that's the best way to go. Like, you sacrificing your own self for anything else like that is going to lead to a really fucking shitty result. You're not going to be happy with the result that you deliver anyways. And this is one of the most powerful things that your birth chart reveals. It's where your sovereignty got disrupted, right? Your chart shows you where your approval patterns began and where your natural leadership lives and how your soul is designed to make decisions in alignment. And when you don't know that and you make those decisions and you're out of alignment, you don't know what the fuck is going on and you can't get back in alignment. And it ends up being like you spinning your wheels and being in this shitstorm spiral. And inside of my personalized birth chart soul and wealth course, I decode all of that specifically for you in a really simple to understand way. And I break it down into 4 personalized audio sessions. It takes me over 2 hours to pull this personalized soul wealth birth chart course together for you, because it has your soul architecture, it has your healing patterns, it has your wealth blueprint, and it has your personalized 90-day, very simple to implement aligned action plan. Okay. So if you want to know more about that, you're joining the Queendom at the VIP level in order to get that. That's a bonus for, usually I can do about 5 of these a month and they fill up pretty quick. So if you just check out the link in the show notes, you're getting that course, that personalized course, plus so much more. We meet for 3 different camps a week and I'm helping you with your wealth and your soul. And we have accountability sessions and just a lot of great things inside of the Queendom, including you get that soul wealth birth chart personalized course. What if everything that you've been forcing day in and day out in your life up to this point was never meant for you in the first place? What if? Well, I have a community that's built specifically for women just like you. And in this community, we go straight to your birth chart because this is where your real soul and wealth design lives. Inside the Queendom, every single month, we run 4 live sessions together. A wealth camp for your money, a soul camp for your healing, 2 soul money roadmap workshops to map your aligned path forward, all custom built around your birth chart and your soul's design. This is your missing piece because it's your design, your chart, your wealth frequency, and your soul. That's what makes it so freaking powerful. And when you join at VIP, you receive a fully personalized birth chart, soul, and wealth course that has 4 custom audios in there recorded specifically for you and your chart. It has your soul architecture, your healing patterns, your wealth wiring, your relationship dynamics, your relationship rhythm, your daily rhythm, how you're meant to make money, how you're meant to show up, what business you're meant to build. All of that is in there. And then it's all wrapped together in a very simple, easy to implement 90-day plan so that you can take that information and get it deployed in your life. So click the link in the show notes and get signed up for your free 7-day trial. Queen, come home because we're waiting for you. Your queendom, and what is so important here, is built through decisions. So anytime you're being throttled or confined or restricted, that creates indecision, which means nothing's moving, which means your queendom isn't being built. And in my world, your queendom is your soul healing and your wealth building. Okay? Your queendom is built through real life daily decisions, like in the moments where you choose truth over pleasing or people pleasing, right? Where you choose rest over proving just to feel good for a second and then have it disappear. Where you choose alignment over urgency. Because listen, I want to talk about alignment over urgency really quick because I have a lot on my plate. I talk about this and I share this, but I don't know that anyone really realizes the gravity of what is on my plate on a day in and day out basis. We have a landscaping company that I set up in February, pre-launch in March, full season starts in April. It is all on my shoulders. I run the admin, I run all of the customer service, all of the email marketing, all of the automation, the tech, everything that goes along with it. I keep the crew on track with the jobs and how that works and making sure that when Daniel is quoting jobs, the communication to the team is clear, it's understandable, keeping everybody on the same page. It is a full-time fucking job just to keep all of that going and running, especially if you don't know how to create automated systems that will make it, only 7 hours a week. I now work it 7 hours a week, but it took me over 40 hours to create these systems, $1 million invested in my education, and then taking my power and saying, no, we are doing it this way. Okay, so that's the landscaping company. This landscaping company does about $25,000. Well, it used to only do about $20,000 a month. That was like the high when I was running it. The highest month we would have is $20,000. It would probably average right around $15,000 a month. Remember, landscaping company, well, we live in Utah, so you got full season from April to October. It's about 7 full months: April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, I was like, how many actual full months? About 7 full months of business. And so 15,000-ish per month is what we were doing. With the systems and everything that I created this year, we are, looks like about $25,000 a month. We'll see as things continue to go on and, as I continue to refine and up level things. Now, remember that it doesn't matter. Well, rephrase. First of all, the foundation in anything is the most important. The foundation in your love relationships, the foundation of the relationship with your children, the foundation with the relationship with your friends, at your job, with your family. It doesn't fucking matter. The foundation is the most important part, right? So once you set the foundation, then you layer the things on top of that. So this year's foundation has been up-leveled. It doesn't matter what it is, though. There's always refinement to make it better. There's always refinement to recalibrate because we're humans, and then we miscalibrate, and then we're like, oh my God, what the fuck happened? Why am I doing that? And then you recalibrate and, get back in rhythm and on track, right? So that's just the landscaping company. Then you have the Queendom, which at this point houses the podcast, my community, the Soul Wealth Blueprint program, And also in 2026, my speaker business, meaning going out and, speaking in speaking events, right? So the Queendom holds all of that. There's different layers and pieces to it. And that's something that requires my attention. Then I am a volunteer for a spiritual center that I've helped launch. It has already launched now, and I do all the marketing and keeping everything, like, really the marketing and the communication, keeping everybody in rhythm, everybody on time, making sure that things are organized, things are done in a methodical manner where it's peace, not necessarily peaceful, but it's not chaotic, right? It's structured, it's systematized, it's okay, these are the things that we're doing and how we're doing it, right? And you got different personality types, you got different astrological signs. I am a Taurus, and so I'm steady, I'm methodical, it's consistency, it's repetition. And then we have someone who's a Gemini, and Geminis are like here and there and variety and all over the place, and they want to do this and they want to do that and they want to do this and they want to do that. And it's like reining in the Gemini enough that we can keep it structured, but allowing them to have that freedom and their own flow and how they move and their rhythm. And then you have someone who is really, really, really like business and logical, just structured, oriented. Let's go, let's go, let's go, which works well with my personality. But then it creates some tension along the other places. And so when you start looking at this, it's about like, how do we keep this in rhythm? Then I have two partners, right? Two children, like, and then my friends, my social life, my spirituality, my healing, all on top of that, right? So I stopped at the alignment over urgency because at the time that I'm recording this podcast episode, I have a fuck ton of shit on my plate. And so this morning it was like I could have just rolled out of bed, threw something on, and went straight to working. And probably still not got much done because inside of me right now, my productivity meter is very low. I don't have a law in productivity today. I can feel that in myself. But my list is urgency. Oh my God, so many things to do, so many things to clear, so many things to set. What's going on? How many bids do we have or quotes do we have on the calendar this week? Okay. Let's make sure the calendar is tight because Stratton is still going to school for a couple of things a day, but then we have two other people that don't have their fucking licenses. So Stratton's the only one driving around. Okay, got to make sure that that's set. Okay, what's going on? Did I put the tags on all the right accounts for the landscaping company and this and that? Okay, well, we've got logos and this and that. This is all this shit's going on with the center and websites to be built and, systems to be put in place. Okay, and those are all mine, right? Marketing. And then in my own business, okay, the podcast needs to be recorded, events need to be scheduled, my weekly broadcasts and emails need to be done. What's going on with my ads? How can I turn this up? Oh, I'm in an entire training program right now that will help me build my community, but right now the time that I have to give that is zero, right? Because I'm also doing so many roadmap calls, 6 of those a week at 90 minutes apiece on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But Tuesdays I also have my group sessions for my Soul Wealth Blueprint program. Wednesdays I have camps for the Queendom, right? Thursdays I have game night with my family. And then this week is my birthday. And so Wednesday I'm off the whole week, right? But then my oldest kid, who doesn't have his license right now, needs a ride to Salt Lake for something else. So then I'm turning Friday into this kind of running around. Or maybe I'm just going to have Graham take him and I'm going to go get pedicures with my mom because I'm sick of looking at my toenails, and then Graham and I can come back together. But really, Fridays is usually for Graham and I. But now that my son needs to be taken to Salt Lake, it puts a cog in that, and that changes that flow. And so we'll have to meet back up later and just have a little bit of time. But remember, I'm not working Wednesday, which means I would really be working Friday. And it's like, are you going to get the pedicure? Are you going to go hang out with your partner and your kid? Or are you going to fucking work, right? Do you see what I'm saying? That's just this fucking week. Not to mention that we have 2 vehicles that are broken down. So we're playing fucking Tetris not Tetris, but like, I don't even fucking know. The match game with vehicles, like who's driving what vehicle this day, because 2 vehicles are fucking broken down, and this mobile mechanic can't get here for 2 weeks, and this other vehicle is an Audi and it's fucking a temperamental, pretentious asshole of a vehicle, and it wants everything done perfectly or it's not gonna fucking run. If this computer doesn't fire this way, the engine won't fucking start. Oh, if the key fob is this way, then it won't kick over and the engine won't start even though the engine's fine. Look at the urgency. Look at the pressure. Listening to this, right? Comes from, 10 different directions. But I chose alignment today. I chose to get up. I chose to get in the shower. I chose to read Align Your Mind. I chose to pull my tarot cards for the week, and I haven't done it in fucking 10 days, right? I chose to leave my book open because I have my new moon tarot spread that I want to do, and I have my Taurus season journaling that I want to do, right? I read the passage of my Hermetic Path. I read a passage in the daily Bhagavad Gita, right? Like, I did what I needed to do. Well, now that I'm in here, I'm recording my podcast, and as soon as these are done, I'm probably going straight to my massage, which means I've gotten nothing done for the landscaping company, nothing done for the spiritual center, and the scheduling of the events and broadcast emails for the Queendom haven't been done. Also, no studying on that. And do you get what I'm saying? By the time I go to my massage and get back from that today, it's going to be 4:15 p.m. Well, my energy starts tapering off around that time. So on Mondays, I usually work until between 6 and 8 p.m., just depending on what's going on, right? And so here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. So is urgency going to lead me, or is alignment going to lead me? Remember, I said my productivity level is really low today. It's just moving and what's best for you and paying attention how you feel. Now, just a couple of days ago on a Saturday, my productivity was at a fucking level 10. So I grinded for 7.5 straight hours, and it was bomb as fuck. Mondays, I have a low productivity level. Saturdays, I usually do ritual for myself. As you can tell by me saying this, I didn't get the new moon journal done or card pools done. I didn't get the the Taurus journal done because I chose to work on my ritual day. Why? Because my productivity meter was high. I knew it. I had nothing to give to ritual. I had everything to give to productivity and getting shit done. On Friday, and it doesn't matter, like, you don't know, like, what day of the week, whatever, but I'm just, like, kind of rolling this down. The day before that, though, I was supposed to go to my mystics class. Well, when I got moving on Friday, I had this whole, like, no, we're doing the office. You're editing the office, or not editing, you're upgrading the office, and you're turning it into a sacred office. So that's what I did on Friday. I didn't go to my mystics class because my soul was like, we need to get this office fucking upgraded in a way that matches us so that we can create everything that we want to create in this space. So I didn't go to my mystics class so that I could do the office. Do I feel bad about that? No, because my soul called that. That's my alignment. That's how I moved. And that's what it is. Okay. It's always integrity over performance, alignment over urgency. Right. But Sunday, so remember, Friday I changed the mystics class and started my sacred office. Can't finish it. I'm waiting for cubes, and it's different phases. So I just did phase 1, right? I rearranged things and got my desk area set. Phase 2, I'll start, doing the other shelves and da-da-da, right? So phase 1's done on the office. Like I said, Saturday's normal my ritual day. No, I went straight into full production. I was like, fucking A, I'm ready to go. Sunday, I went to the spiritual center, did that. I planned on coming home and working again because of Wednesday of my birthday. Nope, no productivity. I had to just exit. I was tired. My body was tired. I did take my bath on Saturday night, right? Alignment. That's what was next. But then I didn't have any productivity on Sunday. At the time of my recording this was yesterday. Didn't have any energy. So I relaxed. Binged watched some FLDS documentary because I'm obsessed with the FLDS and just their thought processes and the craziness of how they do things. I'm really obsessed with cults from the perspective of like the psychological angle and what happens and how they get, like bought into that. I really am obsessed with them. And so anyways, that's what I did. And that was fine. That was just, I was resting over proving to myself that I could over effort and get shit done. This is how your throne is built. Okay. You might have this idea that it's this gigantic, this big giant leap. Okay. But it's actually built in every moment that you choose yourself without apology. And this is exactly the version of you that we started reconnecting to in episode 3. Remember, this is a series. This is the 3rd episode. This one right now, this is actually episode 4 of the season, but this is the 3rd episode of our series this month. And our series is You Were Never Lost, You Were Just Misaligned. Okay, so this is the 4th episode of the season, but the 3rd episode in the series. And we have as many episodes of a series as there is Thursdays in a month. So most months there's going to be 4 parts to that series, 4 episodes to that series. But coming up in May, there will be 5 episodes to that series. So the version of you that we started reconnecting to in episode 3 is the woman who already knew who she was before everyone told her who to be. And this aligns tightly with that. Okay. So claiming space changes what you attract. If you look at the story that I just told you about how I've been living, how I upgraded my office, which you'll see if you're, in one of my camps that I do or whatever, because I upgraded that because my soul called me to it. I was facing northwest on my at my desk, and now I'm facing northeast, and that shift in direction shifts things energetically. And when your space becomes sovereign, then your energy shifts. Okay? Like, I spent almost 2 years creating my sacred bedroom space, my sacred space, and then my sacred bath temple. It took me 2 years to get all of these spaces cohesive. They're all in my bedroom, but my sacred space is like a wing off my bedroom. Then there's where my bed is and my TV is and my, shelves and my lamps and my cloud lights, right? And then there's my bathroom with my bathtub, the shower, toilet room, right, and the sink. And so it was making this one cohesive, sovereign space for me that really connects to me and my soul and my rhythm and my flow and my calibration. And this space is that. And every quarter with the equinox or the solstice, it gets upgraded. The shelves get changed around, everything gets dusted off. My chakra shelves get reset because they can get kind of cluttery with my different potion bottles and all the extras things that I buy throughout the quarter or I'm given, right? So I reset it all except for the bathroom temple. That pretty much stays the same, but all the shelves underneath my TV, my electronic fireplace, all that shit, everything gets quote unquote decorated and reorganized for a fresh reset, right? And my office has been the same color scheme for 11 years. I have like moved around where I sit and like reorganized the office, but I've never like the color pink has never been like a favorite color of mine, a color that I've decorated with. And the office has had pink and turquoise as its colors for 11 years. And I made that decision because my bedroom at the time was purple and turquoise, and then the living room was purple and yellow and turquoise. So turquoise was a color throughout the whole house, and then each room had a different color change. Well, now my room is a rainbow, right? It's like all the colors of the chakra. My living room is turquoise and yellow with a pop of red, and my office is upgrading to purple and turquoise with a pop of yellow, right? Pink is being, banished. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's pink in all of my spaces, but not as a focal decor color. Like, I can't even believe that I chose that for myself. That's not sovereign for me. Purple is my fucking color through and through. Like, I love that color. It is me. I am purple. I can't even believe I did that at the time. But when your space becomes sovereign, then your energy shifts. And then what happens after that is extremely fucking powerful. Your clients respond differently. Opportunities arrive differently. Money enters differently. The way you think and the way you flow, and again, your rhythm, your calibration, it up levels differently. And listen, like even the other day, somebody was like, oh, I, shouldn't have signed up for this, blah, 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 blah. Whatever their story was, fine, that's on them. That's their business. I don't need their story. I just need what the fuck they're doing. And they bowed out from one of my programs. The old version of me, that I would have stressed out over that, right? It's a 7,000, I don't know, ish loss. Dollar loss and blah da 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 da. But I didn't think of it as a loss. It's like I don't want people in any of my containers who don't want to be there. I don't want people in any of my containers that aren't gonna show up for them fucking selves and do the work. Like I want people in my containers in the Queendom, the Soul Wealth Blueprint program, listening to the podcast. I want you who want this. I don't want you who feel forced to this or have, a whole story about the reason why you can't do it. Okay, so when your field is no longer chaotic, you have this confidence and this power that isn't really rocked. Like normally that would have stressed me the fuck out. Oh my God, I lost this. I lost that. Well, no, this time it was like, make space for, who's meant to be there, right? No, things are no longer chaotic. The self-doubt's no longer there. And you become magnetic with clarity. And that's why sovereignty impacts your wealth. And your aligned power creates cleaner results. This is your return to yourself, okay? And the rule here is your queendom is something that you remember because it starts within you. And then you build it outside of you. And once you remember, everything reorganizes around it, even if that reorganizing looks like a loss of something. It's actually a gain of something greater. Perspective is everything, and you get to choose what that perspective is. So if this landed for you, then you need to be inside of the Queendom. It's my school community where we do this work together, the soul work, the wealth work, the relational work, all of it. The link's in the show notes, and we are ready to welcome you home. Now declare this. I claim my space fully, and my life rises around the truth of who I am. I claim my space fully, and my life rises around the truth of who I am. I claim my space fully, and my life rises around the truth of who the fuck I am. And remember this, you are worth it. You have always been worth it. And the world needs who you were made to be. So show up every single fucking day as the badass you are and slay. I'm Power Coach Alishia, and we'll see you next time. Oh my gosh, Queen, thank you so much for being here, because we're all in this together through this journey called life. And if something landed for you today, if something moved inside of you in this episode and you felt that fire light the fuck up in you, then your next step is to step forward for yourself into the Queendom, because this is where we do this work together live every single month. The soul work, the healing, the wealth blueprint, all tied to your birth chart and your soul's design. So just click the link in the show notes to start your free 7-day trial and know that this castle was built for you. We will see you inside.